Matt, what are some of our biggest misconceptions about work behavior?
I think probably the biggest misconception about work behavior is something social psychologists call the fundamental attribution error. When we understand our own behavior, we understand that often the way we behave is influenced by our environment. If I was late to this filming, it might be because the train was late or all sorts of other things that were outside of my control, external to me. But when we evaluate other people's behavior, we make what we call the fundamental attribution error. That is, we attribute their behavior entirely to them. We don't recognize the influence that their environment has on them. So we think it's about their personality or beliefs. When I don't drink enough water during the day, it's because I'm busy in meetings and I didn't have a chance, etc. But when someone else doesn't do it, it's because they're lazy or they don't care about their health, right? We internalize those things. So when we talk about work behavior, sometimes we have a tendency to look at people and say, well, they're not doing the thing I want them to do. It must be because they're bad. They're not motivated in the way that I want, right? They don't believe the things that I want. They're not, trying hard enough, or they're obstinate. We really see this in change management all the time. People don't readily embrace this change, and we think, well, they're just resistant, right? We use a lot of words that attribute it to them. Instead of looking at hey, there's a lot going on in their environment. They may be very open to change sort of naturally, predispositionally as a person, but if the environment isn't set up to allow them to embrace that change, that can be a real barrier. So I think the fundamental attribution error, the tendency to attribute people's behavior to something personal about them, is probably the biggest misconception we see about work behavior.